What's going on, Cciv traders and long-term investors? Now, I am both, and I'm going to be showing you guys my position in Cciv, but we have to go over some breaking news that just came out in an SEC filing and go over this article that is breaking all this information down because it does get quite complicated, and we want to keep it simple here on this channel. We're also going to go over the ortex data so you guys are fully aware of the short squeeze potential that Cciv does have, and break this all down for you guys, give you guys my final conclusion, what I think is going to happen with the short squeeze, as well as an overall long-term investment, because there is a quite substantial amount of FUD in the markets about Cciv stock, and we are going to clear the air in this video. So without any further ado, hit that like button for me. I do greatly appreciate it, as well as consider subscribing to the channel. Now let's get straight into the breaking news and what everybody needs to be made aware about. Now, this article says yes, Churchill Capital is dramatically boosting its authorized share capital, and no, this is definitely not bearish for Lucid Motors. Now, to save you guys some of these paragraphs of just straight up reading, it just goes on to say that we are going to be voting for the actual merger on July 22nd, which is very important. If you are a CCIV holder, make sure you go vote and have your voice be heard. But it says, to wit, Churchill Capital filed Form 424B3 with SEC a few days back. The filing detailed the proposals that CCIV shareholders would be required to vote on during a special meeting in the later part of July, including the crucial proposal to approve the business combination agreement with Lucid Motors. However, it is proposed to increase CCIV's authorized share capital that it is raising quite a lot of hackles. Proposal 2, dubbed the charter proposal, calls for an increase in CCIV authorized number of shares from 501 million to 15.01 billion. Interestingly, the same action is also a part of a proposal number 3A, with the caveat that proposal number 3, dubbed the governance proposal, is advisory in nature and not advisory for the consummation of the business combination agreement with Lucid Motors. So what does this mean? Well, even if investors were to reject Proposal 3 to increase in CCIV's authorized share capital is embedded within the charter proposal. Hence, this increase has to be certified by investors if the merger with Lucid Motors is to go ahead. So basically, we have to agree to give them authorization for 15 billion shares and dramatically increase the number of shares that have the potential to be released into the marketplace. If that does not happen, the merger will not go through with Lucid Motors. Now, it does go on to say, this brings us to the crux of the matter. As is evidence from the snippet above, Churchill Capital has to issue new shares to existing Lucid Motors investors. Moreover, the PIPE investors who are bringing in 2.5 billion in crucial liquidity also need to be issued new shares to the tune of 166.66 million, assuming no redemptions. 1.595 billion Lucid Group common shares will have to be issued in the total upon the close of the merger agreement. However, the authorized share capital is nearly 10x this immediate issuance requirement, thereby giving rise to fears of rampant dilution. Now, what is going on here by them just wanting to get investors to agree to let them issue 15 billion shares is essentially saying we don't want to come out and have to dilute the company in different intervals. Now, CCIV is an aggressive growth company. They are in the expansion phase. So this is going to happen. This is the whole reason to get listed on the stock market, is to raise capital and grow the business. So what they're trying to do here by just straight out giving authorization to issue 15 billion shares is essentially they're going to have these shares on hand if they have to redeem them at any point, but they're not going to come out with any new proposals for a very, very long time, probably 10 to even 20 years. 15 billion shares is a lot of shares, guys, but that doesn't mean they will automatically issue all of these shares. That's not going to be the case. They might issue a couple hundred million here, couple hundred million there, but I do think ultimately this will be a great thing because you're not going to get those headlines that drop the stock 10 to 20% all the time, every 6 months or a year, depending how often a company in the expansion phase like Lucid Motors is and how often these companies do actually dilute the shares. So it's not going to be as big of a pressing headline. If at all, it's a headline. So I do think they're just trying to get this out in one go, which I do think is a great thing if you're a long-term investor in CCIV. Definitely, this could give people some shakes when it does come down to the actual merger. But like I have talked about, I think the merger will be positive for CCIV going into Lucid Motors, ultimately making the share price go up, forcing a lot of these shorts to cover their short positions. But I'm just going to read this last article and then we're going to get into the ortex data. Like I said, I am not bearish on this whatsoever. I actually think it's a smart move to get the authorization to do this. Like I said, save us a lot of those negative headlines, those 10 to 20% drops in a stock when they do want to issue new shares. Now we're going to read this last paragraph that kind of sums up, in his opinion, what is going on here and what this implies for Lucid Motors as a company going into the future. Then we will get into the ortex data and go over the short squeeze that I do think is coming. Now, this paragraph says investors should note that authorized share capital is simply an enabling measure and need not be fully utilized. Instead of repeatedly going to investors for the issuance of new shares, Churchill Capital seems to be catering to all of its foreseeable equity financing needs in one go. Consequently, while the size of this authorization relative to the current need is indeed an outlier, the faculty is unlikely to be fully utilized. To sum it up, the increase in authorized share capital is not a bearish factor on its own. It is only the manner in which the faculty would be used by Lucid Group that would dictate its bearish or bullish tilt. Now let's get into the ortex data, because this is where it gets truly interesting. So the short interest change for the day is positive 0.65%, return shares 13.3 million, borrowed shares of 13.67 million. So that is a net gain to the total shares that were actually sold short today of 376.4 thousand shares. Current short interest percentage of free float at 20.79%. Current shares that are sold short of 43.04 million, compared to the volume that we are seeing on any given day, around 9 to 10 million. This will take a long time for shorts to cover their short positions. If we do see a lot of volume come in from whether that's day traders, FOMO buyers, or even longer term investors, we are going to see the share price go insane here, guys. We could really hit all-time highs with a short interest like this, with these major catalysts that we do have on the near-term horizon, which is going to be the actual day that we vote to merge into Lucid Motors. That is July 22nd. Then we do have the merger the next day after, July 23rd, and then we do have suspected delivery dates coming within the next 30 to 60 days. So upon these catalysts, specifically the merger and the delivery dates, we are going to see CCIV share price go insane due to this fact right here, and that is all the shorts in these short positions. Now the share utilization is at 99.83%, so that means out of 100% of shares that could be sold short, 99.83% of those shares are already sold short. So it is very hard to get your hands on any additional shares to sell short, and every time more are available, shorts are coming in and shorting the stock. This is a great sign for anybody that is playing the short squeeze of CCIV, which I do know for a fact is coming in one way or the other in the next coming weeks. Now, this is a great time for me personally to be doubling down on my options positions, because I want to get my share count up, but I do think you will see that sell off after the short squeeze about 2 to 3 weeks after the merger, as we have seen in a lot of other SPACs. Specifically, SoFi is one that I am currently invested in, and that went crazy from about $15 to I believe $28 on the high end. Now it's back down to about $15 yet again, or $18, somewhere in between there. I don't watch it all the time. It's a long-term investment, so forgive me for not knowing the exact number right off the top of my head, but that is pretty much all you guys need to know as far as the ortex data. The days to cover at 4.29 days. That is, like I was saying, it's going to take 4.29 days for all shorts to get out of their short positions if they all wanted to at the same exact time. So just what I was saying, we're going to see an extended event here. But as far as my long-term CCIV position, that is currently worth $4,033.05, total return of 8.23%, or $306.72. My average cost of $23.14, shares of 161, portfolio diversity University of 11.84%. Now, I really want to add to my share position. I might start going in with smaller amounts, but really under this average cost at $23.14, that is really where I'm going to be loading the boat. And for my projections, on the low end, you should see about a 20x in the next 5 years. So I do think CCIV is one of the best long-term stocks that you could actually buy right now, and that is only my opinion, but that is why I do have almost 12% of my portfolio in CCIV stock. Now, as far as the options, like I had already talked about, I had 2 options. I sold out. I made about $55. I have kept the cash on the sideline waiting to buy in, and right now I do think is a great time to be buying these options. Now, specifically the CCIV $30 call, this is one that I am definitely going to be adding to, probably coming tomorrow. I really want more skin in the game when it comes to this specific option, but this does expire August 20th. Like I said, $30 call. I paid $191 for this. It is currently worth at $212, excuse me for that, but this did hit a high of almost $400 and I held on to this. This is how highly convinced I am of this trade. I think we're gonna go well past $30 once this merger actually does happen, but I am up about 11% or $21. So now that I am back down to almost my break-even price, that's really why I want to get more options in this. But I do have a CCIV $30 cover call that I sold. Agree to sell my 100 shares, or 100 shares I should say. I have more than 100 shares, but agree to sell 100 at $35 by July 9th if CCIV closed over $35 per share. I collected $120 for agreeing to this. I'm up 99.17%, up $119. This is only worth $1 right now, so this was a phenomenal trade. Great timing on my part. I got $120 for free, and you could essentially turn this into more stock or do whatever you want with this. But as far as the technicals, guys, I don't even feel the need to pull up the actual Webull technicals and do that with you, just because the simple fact, I don't think we're going to see a lot of action with the stock until we get to about July 22nd and the 23rd, and specifically after the actual merger is done. Like we have seen with other SPACs, that first day you actually merge into the company seems to be pretty quiet, up about 3 to 5%. It's the next following days where it really starts to get some momentum, and a lot of institutional and hedge funds buying into it. So that is pretty much what I expect. That is everything you guys need to know from the breaking news, the ortex data, the my position in this, literally everything you guys need to know as far as right now with CCIV stock. I do apologize for stuttering a couple times during this. I wanted to do this in as little takes as possible because it is late and I want to get this information out to you guys as soon as possible. So with that being said, if you guys want more videos like this, let me know that by hitting the like button, as well as comment down below and consider subscribing to the channel. Also, let me know in the comment section what you do think about my thesis that CCIV will rally after the merger is completed, as well as if you guys want to get all free stock, check out the link for public. Get up to $70 in your choice of free stock, no deposit necessary, no need to even link a bank account. You get your free stock in about 3 minutes time, as well as there is a link for Webull. Deposit $100, get up to 4 free stocks, up to $2,400 a piece. Those links are great, both free money when it does come down to it, as well as if you guys want to start winning on your options trades, as well as long-term investments and crypto investments, check out the link for the buy and sell alerts. Join a community of about 40 members strong, and we welcome you with open arms. But with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. I will see you in the next video.